Hey guys, welcome back to the Eyes on Leafs podcast. I'm Mateo. A little bit of background if you guys haven't watched. I write for Editor and Leaf. I write for a website called Over the Line Sports and the Eye Opener, which is a student paper at TMU. Seb is the one with the clock behind him. Jacob is in the middle for me. I don't know if it'll stay like this or if it's like that for everyone, but he has a Leafs jersey behind him and the Jays jersey behind him. We're recording right after the Leafs 3-2 comeback win over the Chicago Blackhawks in regulation. Feel like the tone of the pod would be a little bit different, although I feel like the thoughts are still valid, but I feel like it would have been a little bit different if they didn't make that comeback. I was fuming before that, but yeah, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, oh my god.
A little better. A little better now.
Yeah.
No, our group chat was not a fun place to be.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, it's that was an interesting game.
To say the least.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go I'm gonna walk you guys through, like, set this game up a little bit, see what the main storylines were, and I'll do a quick recap of how goals were scored, key moments in the game, and then Jacob and Seb are gonna just chip in here with what they thought in the game, any key moments or any takeaways they had from it, and then we'll go off from there. We have a little bit of Leafs talk like we always do, and obviously there's some big topics around the league this week, so we'll get to that as well. But first, Leafs Corner. Like I said, Leafs win 3-2 of the Chicago Blackhawks in regulation. Heading into the game, obviously the Joe Bowen game. Joe Bowen's having his final season of his long career.
What a tribute.
That was a great tribute, honestly. The Foster Hewitt gondola, that was a huge surprise. I did not expect them to do that. And
so are they renaming the whole gondola, or are they renaming the radio booth? That's what I thought.
Just the radio booth.
Okay.
Oh, I thought they were renaming the whole thing.
I thought so initially too. That would have been really cool, but no, just the radio.
Yeah.
Still really cool. I mean, I said to you guys as it happened, I feel like it's so rare that the Leafs do something that's so classy and so like Joe Bowen is just like, he's a legend in Toronto, especially for Leafs fans, and he's a fan favorite kind of guy.
Yeah, he's like as much of a franchise legend that you can get that isn't a player.
He also spanned through all generations too, like our dads would have heard him when they were growing up. I know for a fact, like, being a guy who played rep hockey and driving home from my own games with the Leafs team on the radio, a lot of car rides home with him blaring through the radio, listening to the Leafs on the way back. So it's sad that's his last season, but I mean, I didn't get to catch a tribute because I was out. I didn't get back until just before the start of the first period, but I was kind of following along on Twitter and listening on the radio. So any moments that stood out for you guys at all on that?
It was just really, really well done, I think. They got so the first kind of introductory part of it was just like lights in the stadium are kind of dimmed out, and then over the speakers they just have all his iconic moments kind of playing, and then introduce him and the family. He does the puck drop, or no, they were playing the video before that, right?
Yeah.
The puck, yeah. So they had a video with a bunch of Leafs alumni, Leafs current players, people he's broadcasted with before.
Yeah.
And then they all were just wishing they're,
I think my favorite moment from that was they cut to Joe Bowen, and he was obviously getting pretty emotional there, and then it was while Jim Ralph was speaking in the video, and he goes, "This is the longest I've ever spoken in the 30 years of working with you without you interrupting me." and
just starts dying.
Yeah, it's dying.
I heard on the radio. That was great.
While tearing up. That was awesome. That was a good moment.
Yeah. So I mean, the Leafs picked tonight's game for the reason that his first ever career game, his first career call, I think it was in 1977. I could be wrong on that.
I feel like it was 82.
Was it 82? Sorry, honestly, I should have prepped that. That's my bad, guys. But if either it was 82,
long time ago,
and it was in Chicago, or it was in Chicago's old arena, but against the Blackhawks, and they figured obviously you're gonna have it while you're in Toronto, and what better team to do than the team that he had his first call against, and some other cool stuff there with his son, who does the play-by-play for the Sudbury Wolves of the OHL, called the game tonight on the radio. which I thought was a really cool gesture by I don't know who would make the call on that. I don't know if that's Sportsnet. I don't know if that is the Leafs themselves, but whoever whoever thought of that, like that was a really nice gesture. And just by I heard him call the Matthews goal just on Twitter there, and I think we all agreed that it was a really great call. I haven't,
Good call.
I'll go back and see the Dakota Joshua one after, but now heading into the game, the Leafs came out exactly how you thought they would. They were awful. So big game, big hype around the game, and they said, you know what? What if we didn't play tonight? And the first period was pretty much that. They got their show ran. They just chance after chance in the first period. One power play where they gave up 2 odd man rushes, and one of them led to a goal. Just soft around the front of the net. Joseph Wold makes a save on one, gets speared, and the puck slides in. Obviously, that's called back for goalie interference, but they still allowed it right to the middle of the crease. Just it's way too easy for Chicago, and it fell at that throughout. And then after that, Chicago sat back and played a pretty good trap. The Leafs didn't get anything generated. And the thing I'd say that was frustrating is that the Leafs honestly didn't give up that many chances after the first period. I thought they kept it tight, but they just couldn't create, and it looked like they were playing against the prime New Jersey Devils, who played the trap, and they had allowed 9 shots a game. And it really took until late in the third period when it felt like they finally started playing simple hockey, where it was a lot of just puck to the defenseman, carry it over your zone, fire into neutral zones, off someone's stick into the corner, and you chase it down, and you just get that puck. And they started getting a couple more chances, simple hockey. OEL scores off of a draw, shot that goes off a defenseman, off of Knight's pad into the top corner. Then Robertson, who I thought had a really good game today. I'm just like I said, I'll quickly go through. Then you guys can jump in on your thoughts on the game, and then I have some players that stood out to me too. But I thought Robertson had a great game tonight, and he was dogged in the corners, especially in the third period. I noticed him a ton in the corners, and he wins a battle, gets hooked. Stick comes out of his hand, Leafs throw to power play, which I tweeted. Oh, great opportunity for the Leafs to tie it with less than 4 minutes. One thing, though, the Leafs power play is probably the worst in the league. And I wanted to assist on that goal because Matthews takes that puck out of the corner after Willie does a really good job. I thought Willie was really...
Bullying works.
It does work. Bullying works. And I thought Willie was pretty brutal throughout tonight, but he did a really nice job.
It's terrible.
Behind it, yeah. Chicago wins the draw, puck comes around behind the net. Willie does a great job pinning the defenseman to the boards, tying up his man, getting the puck loose. Matthews takes it and unleashes one of those reverse shots that we've been dying to see from him all year. I mean, that puck came out of the net as quick as it entered the net. It was incredible. I didn't even know if it went in or not originally. And then immediately after that, yes, go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, I was just gonna say I hate to complain about something that we've been his wrist shot, but this is such a Leafs fan thing of me. But the first thing I thought after that shot went in was obviously after holy shit what a goal was. Okay, he still has the accuracy. Where's the power?
Okay, yeah. Honestly, it was in tight, but I thought the shot was a hard shot. Like it was a
beautiful shot.
Great shot. And like
that's
I said,
one of those things only a player like Auston Matthews would score that goal, you know?
Yeah. And then like immediately after, Leafs win the draw at the in the neutral zone at center ice. I think it was McCabe who fired it in. I didn't have to check the score sheet on that. Sorry, I didn't know if it was Stetcher or McCabe. Thank you, Seb. Stetcher fires it in off of Knight. Dakota Joshua flying into the zone, just completely outmuscles the defenseman and buries it. Leafs don't give up many other chances with the last 2 minutes. I'm not quite sure if Chicago even really got a shot on net. Yeah, they locked it down and Leafs win. So I went through the game. Up to you guys now. What did you guys think of the game? Any main takeaways? Jacob, do you want to start it off? You were going on about Matthews there for a second.
Oh yeah, sure. I honestly, after the first period, I thought Matthews should have been benched. I thought he had a terrible game, and even with that goal, he still honestly had a terrible game. Like I don't know. You guys have watched Evan Bouchard play hockey, and it looks like sometimes on the plays he makes, it is just a mental gap or a lack of effort there. I saw it, like, I hate to give Matthews the Bouchard award for tonight, but my God, like, his back check was terrible. Frankly, his forecheck was not good either, and he was not winning puck battles, and it looked like to be from a lack of effort. And Mike Johnson brought up a good point. He has some stats to back it up too. Maybe he's injured.
Time.
Yeah, 11 seconds of possession time. He is. He went from the 80th percentile of, I forget what it was, but top speed bursts, and now he's below 50%, and his shot has dropped 6 kilometers an hour, or 6 miles per hour, this season too in speed. So I wonder if he's still playing through something that is maybe a little bit more long term that he can play through. And on top of Matthews, I thought Nylander had a terrible game. I want those two split up immediately.
Can we just stick on Matthews for a second?
100%,
yeah. I think, and not to cut you off, Jacob, I want to go right back to Willie because I agreed with you on that. But I think the thing that constantly keeps coming to my head, and I think it's just a thing that a lot of Leafs Nation is feeling, is the dread that he has something seriously wrong with him, that he refuses to get taken care of because of the Four Nations last year, and then because of the Olympics coming up in February. And do you guys think that's something that, because you were talking about the Mike Johnson stats, and I think you're right, and I thought it was really good work by Mike Johnson, who seems to do really good work every single time he's doing a Leaf game. We do. But he pointed out all the physical aspects, which until recently with NHL Edge, it was kind of hard to really put numbers to it. It was a lot more eye test. So do you guys think that he is holding off on getting if it's an injury, getting it taken care of because he wants to play for Team USA in these big events?
I don't know if it's that. There was I can't remember who it was the other day. I saw, I think it might have been another Mike Johnson kind of breakdown, but obviously we know Matthews cares about his defensive side of the game, and he's a majority of the time in the defensive zone. He's in puck battles a lot, in a lot of sneakily physical puck battles, blocks a lot of shots. He's one of the league leaders for forwards in block shots consistently every single season. And that kind of play does have significant wear and tear on the body, and he's been in the league since he was 19. I think maybe it's not necessarily one big injury we're seeing, but more so this is a player whose body is changing and is having to learn how to adjust his game to how his body is changing. Because again, in the breakdown, it was comparing this to guys like Sean Couturier, who went and won a Selke and then literally the next 2 years missed hockey because of the style of game he played. Mark Stone, you look at Mark Stone, this guy plays 40 games a year, but he's still one of the top defensive forwards in the league, and the other 40 games he plays. So I don't know if it's necessarily one big injury or if his body is kind of just changing in terms of what he's capable of doing, and he just has to learn how to adjust that game, and if that's something we're seeing more so in a season-to-season kind of basis. And Matthews has been able to change his game style in years past and how he scores goals. That's one of the reasons why he was, at least if you don't consider him right now, or he at the very least was the best goal scorer in the sport, is because he was so versatile in how he could score goals. But now there's just some sort of disconnect there. Like you guys were saying, he looked brutal for most of the night, which I also found odd because I found at least his line, especially in the first 5 minutes of the game, they were generating a lot. It just wasn't a lot of shots on net, but they had a lot of attempts and everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Anything to add on that, Jacob?
Honestly, I could not have said it better myself. I talked a little bit about the same thing last episode, with the defensive style of play. There is worry there. I would honestly, it will never come out if he's holding out for the Olympics, but I would be so frustrated if he was, because what's your priority here? And I understand the NHL has not gone to the Olympics in a long time, but I mean, ideally Auston Matthews is still an elite enough player to make an Olympic team in 2031 or 2030, whenever the next one is, you know? And I I get it. It's I just really hope that's not what it is.
In 2031.
Well, he's 28 now, so he'll be 32. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It was just a thought I had, and there's a lot to get to today. So there's a lot to get to today. So I just gonna try to keep it moving. But Jacob, you were about to bring something up on Willie before I interrupted you to just ask you guys about Matthews. Because that's something I've been thinking about the last couple of days. Do you want to just go on what you thought about Willie? Because we were talking about it in the group chat a little bit, but I throughout the game, but I really agreed with you. If you just want to say what you were thinking earlier.
Oh yeah, it's just it's something that's been a criticism of him for a long time is the nonchalance on the ice, and like when it works, and this was my issue with him last playoffs too. Was he made so many risky plays that I feel like maybe not rarely paid off, but they paid off enough that he was the leading point scorer on the Leafs last playoffs. And it's the same thing now, except it's just not working as well. And I don't think I didn't watch the Edmonton game. I was at work, but the Matthews Nylander combination, I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far. I didn't hate Max Domi up there. I didn't love Max Domi up there. I understand why they moved off of it, but I, as always, would love to see that get an extended run. I was pretty surprised throughout tonight's game that I didn't notice a shift where Matthews and Nylander were split up. They didn't move off it at all.
He kind of didn't move off of any of the lines that often. I saw Domi out there with Lorentz and Lawton at the end of the game, but just add on to that, Jacob. Like I mentioned it to my dad because I was watching with him, and I was like, he has not changed, and I was frustrated because I'm like, they haven't generated anything offensively, and there has not been a single tweak to any of these lines. And I don't know if that's just Berube saying, fuck it, it's on you guys now because I can't do anything about it. Like, you guys go figure it out.
If that's the case, it's valid.
But like it's just something I noticed is he does bring the blunder out a lot. Like he will mix and match, and that's just something I noticed there. But yeah, I think Edmonton I didn't watch. I was out. I was out as well, and I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah,
I guess. And whenever the Leafs play, I take in a lot of coverage on just like post game what people thought, and I know Willie was sick. I mean, he missed practice before that, and I think he might have played a career low, like 13 minutes of.
Yeah, he played 13 minutes that night. Like there was towards the end of the game, there was literally video of him on the bench with his head against like the glass, just like looking dead. That was not William Nylander that played that night. That was at like. You might as well have thrown Alex Nylander in there, and like it would have been the same result. I'm not even kidding. Like it was bad.
Maybe he's still sick, and that's the thing. It's getting hard to keep giving these guys excuses though, because they've been so bad all year. And I mean, I saw a funny like something that just made me laugh, and I said to Seb, and he laughed too. I think this was from James Myrtle of The Athletic. In the last 13 games, at least for 7-3-3, and it has felt like the worst 7-3-3 you have ever seen in your life. Yeah. And there's been some good games, but like for the most part, it's just like, what are they doing out there? And they find a way to come out with 2 points, or at least a point. But and then Dakota Joshua too. I mean, like I said, it just outworked it. I think he's another one of those players that I want to kind of spotlight, because ever since that healthy stretch, incredible. I mean, this is I maybe just got a little kick in the ass. I know he was in Vancouver for a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit tough kind of adapting to a new situation, getting traded in the offseason. But I mean, Berube healthy scratched him, and ever since then he hasn't taken his foot off the gas. And he scored, I think, in Pittsburgh the night after he got healthy scratched. And I was like, all right, like whatever. You see that pretty often, like guys who are talented, a healthy scratch to come out and they score, and it's just kind of like how it goes. And I was kind of like, all right, let's just see how he plays for the rest, because this could fall off a cliff again, and it wouldn't surprise me. But he's kept his foot on the gas. Like, what do you guys see of Dakota Joshua?
Today he played great, which is like I was gonna mention. I feel like there were a lot of really good individual performances today, but Dakota Joshua was one of the best. I feel like whoever was on that line with him and Waugh, whatever shift it was, he was the best player out there. Just physical, like that's exactly what they need from him, is to just go out there, be a menace in the corners, because he's just a big dude. Like, it's so hard to get him off the puck. And then the plays like he had on his goal, where he had another chance like that earlier in the game, where he almost got it and just went off the post, but he beat Knight on like a half break where he was able to.
Oh, that was a disgusting chance.
Cut in through the middle. Like, dude, he almost got that in too. Like, when he's playing like that, it's exactly the type of player that I think third line needs, and what Craig Berube has wanted from that third line ever since he's become Leaf coach.
Yeah, I know we're talking about Joshua there, but that pass from Domi was really gross on that play, and I see some potential with that third line, but yeah, honestly, like, Joshua Waugh has been a good duo so far. I'd like to see some more production from Waugh, but I've liked his game so far. Yeah, we complained. I think did we have an episode where we complained a lot about Dakota Joshua, or was that?
I don't think so.
I think that was before we started recording.
We didn't record during the Leafs' terrible stretch.
Well, anyhow, Dakota Joshua, I know collectively between the three of us, we had a lot of complaints where he was just like pure cardio.
Useless.
Like,
he looked useless for the first month and a half of the season.
And he had a lot of phantom hits too. Like, you look at the stat sheet and he'd have 4 hits on the night. I'm like, can someone point out those 4 hits for me? Because I didn't see him on the ice. And now he's making his presence felt. It's just he's a big body who gets to the net, wins board battles, will impose his will on you. And I can't complain. And something, Jacob, you brought up a good point with the Joshua and Waugh pairing. I feel like that's something that we see out of Berube, just almost with every single line. It feels like he always has a tandem for each line, and then he'll mix one guy, take one guy off the line. And there's a group of guys where he doesn't have it, but it'll be Matthews and Nyes, and then that right wing spot, it'll be whoever he feels that night. JT is a little bit different. I feel like that's been a rotating cast on that line a little bit. But then it's Waugh and Joshua and Lorentz and Lawton, and those are his pairs, and he'll just cycle through. So I thought it was a really interesting point that you brought up there. But yeah, was there anything else you guys want to talk about on the? Go ahead.
I had one.
No, go ahead. Jacob, what were you about to say? You said it has been.
I was just gonna say it was JT Nylander for most of the season up to this point, but that's. Anyway, Seb, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of the lines, at least tonight, not to be super negative or anything, because they did pull out a pretty magical win. I feel like the Tavares line was rather useless for most of the night.
Yep.
In comparison to the rest of the team, I feel like each line kind of had their moments. The Lawton, Lorentz, Cowan fourth line was a solid fourth line for most of the night. Although we were hating on the Matthews line, they had their chances in the O-zone. It just, they weren't really finishing a lot of the game, and then the second period was just, they weren't really generating much. But that Tavares line, I feel, for most of the night really struggled. I would like to see Cowan back up there with him. And
100%.
I don't think Cowan had the best game tonight either, but they work really well together. Cowan has underratedly, at least statistically, been really good on the forecheck this season. He's near tops of the league in forechecking stats.
Eye test backs it up for me, because I've always thought that he's not big enough yet to really dominate at the NHL level, but I thought he wins a lot of puck battles, and I agree with you. The puck on his stick tonight, he wasn't great, but he was great in the corners. He won a lot of. He just got in there a lot, beat out a few icings, but.
Yeah, if he's not going to be good with the puck on a certain night, you can still count on him being good in the corners. He's always going to be good on the forecheck, and I think him and Tavares work really well for that. And Cowan, we've also seen Cowan make some really good in tight plays, which Tavares is also great for finishing those kinds of plays just because of how good he is in front of the net, where the space gets tighter. So I'd like to see them as a more permanent duo, regardless if like you're gonna put Nylander on that wing there or something. But that I think, because we also talked about it today, Mateo, how Tavares has really cooled off in the past like 10 games or so. I think that could be a way maybe you get him going again, because it would be in this team's best interest to get Tavares on a better pace than 3 points in 10 games. But yeah, that's all. That's the only other thing I had.
And then, sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Please finish your thought.
No, I didn't have anything. I was gonna move on. You, if you had another thought on it, yeah. Sorry,
okay.
It's a little bit weird because the frequency is a bit off because we're doing online pod right now. Usually when we're in person, it's a little bit more seamless, but sometimes you have to bear with us a little bit tonight.
Yeah, the only other thing I had for tonight was seeing Joseph Wool's return. 23 saves on 25 shots, 920 save percentage. Exactly what you need from him.
He played good, like nothing even happened.
Yeah,
dude, I can't remember the last time I came over a game. I'm like, wow, Wool didn't have it tonight, or Wool was fighting it tonight. This guy, if he's gonna be in the crease, he's gonna give you a good game. And I knock on wood, I guess. Knocked on wood. Yeah, knocked on wood there. But I mean they like you're right, Jacob. Wool tonight, fantastic. Seb, you had a thought on Thrun there. You said that before we started recording.
I was just gonna say I thought he had a pretty good game. I want to see more of him in this lineup. I thought Benoit played well tonight too, after absolutely roasting him after the second game. I was familiar with your game, Benoit. I just wanted to see it. But
he heard you.
I am like Henry Thrun looks pretty solid. I feel like he's not the same type of player as Benoit, but you can see Henry Thrun has way more skill than a guy like Benoit. Like, he can kind of connect a pass occasionally and can actually like handle a puck. He played physical tonight too.
I was about to say he kind of reminded me of like another Benoit tonight. Just like he got it. He was in a scrum. Yeah, exactly. Not derogatory, but he was pretty physical. Like, he's a big. I don't know what his height is, but he doesn't look tiny. He looks like a bigger guy. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Seb, I agree. Just looked like another Benoit. Like last year's Benoit, I felt like maybe less of like the swing and a miss for the huge hits, where Benoit used to try to jump into that a few times. And he tried it in tonight, but he almost killed Lardis, like almost murdered him after the Leafs went down 2-0. That's another thing I noticed. A few of the Leafs, when they were down 2, they just tried to get something going. Nyes, I think, ran Donato over in the neutral zone. Yeah.
Dude, Nyes killed him.
Yeah, he knocked him on his ass. Yeah, and thanks, Jacob. Thrun is 6'1", 212. I think that's from. Is that Hockey DB?
That's Hockey DB.
That's Hockey DB. Thank you. Yeah, we have an outline going, so Jacob just kind of helped me out there, copy and pasted in there. But all right, moving on from the game tonight. Should we do a sanity check quickly before we start going into the other Leafs? Onto the other Leafs things.
Actually, can I have one more thing on Wool?
No.
Hold on. Can I say one thing on Matthews? We just saw a post-game quote. This is from Jesse Blake. Yeah. This is just from Jesse Blake of the STPN, who gets media credentials. He's down there at the rink doing some post-game. They asked him about the celebration to the crowd after. Matthews kind of just like cupped his ear after he scored. He says the Boo Birds were coming down, rightfully so. I think after the first goal, the crowd really got into it, which is great. And then the second one, the place was rocking. So my dad was kind of pissed off that he did that because he's like, why are you getting all the crowd? And I'm like, I don't know. A lot of guys do that. Like, I didn't find an issue with it. Like,
I don't think he was getting on the crowd. I could see how that would be misinterpreted, but
yeah. Yeah, I think
he was.
Scotiabank Library is too much of a library half the time, and like
I think he was just trying to fire them up.
Honestly,
yeah, me too. No, I was fine with it.
I'm happy with a Leaf player asking for stuff from the crowd. You know, like get the place rocking. That's the kind of stuff that gets the crowd going. Yeah. If you're playing well, which
I will
see in that game. Look at how quickly they could turn things around with the crowd and everything. They went from booing to cheering immediately. Like it's
yeah.
I will say I am glad both Dakota Joshua and Matthews, they were asked about the booze, and they both, like paraphrasing here, pretty much said, yeah, I would have too. Like, we deserved it. Dakota Joshua said, like, yeah, like if I was a fan, Dakota Joshua, I think this is almost word for word, but it will. I am still paraphrasing. He's like, yeah, 100%. We were playing. If I was a fan and I had to watch that, I'd be booing too. And Matthew says boo birds are out, rightfully so. So I am glad that they both kind of acknowledged it. They've been pretty combative when talking about the mood in the arena throughout their tenure. I think there's a Matthews quote when Reeves fought, kind of saying he wishes the crowd gave a little bit more. Like, they're a little bit combative sometimes, but I am glad that they took accountability, because that was a terrible game for, I'd say, 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
But
That game
but
was just boring.
they just didn't get anything going offensively. That's what it was. They couldn't do it.
Seb, you said it best in the beginning when you said it was like neutral zone trap style, which is so funny because this is the 2025 Chicago Blackhawks. That was Mateo?
Yeah, no, but you're right. That's what I was like. It's the 2025. Yeah, it's the 2025 Chicago Blackhawks, and we made them look like the Devils from the early 2000s, Brodeur and that. But
Regardless, too.
Do a fucking
yeah,
dump
and
chase
no
or
left
something.
off too. And that's what they did, Jacob. Like, the second they turned it around, it was a lot of just get the puck into the corner, win a corner, a battle in the corner, work it to the point, puck to the net with a screen. And it's so simple. Yeah. It's like, guys, it doesn't need to be a beautiful play every time.
And that's how they won the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's how the OEL goal happened.
Another Mike Johnson great breakdown from tonight, and he highlighted it to start with a Cowan play, and then every time it was happening, just started mentioning it. On their breakouts, they would have two forwards going all the way up to the blue line, stuck with the two defensemen. The Blackhawks clog up the neutral zone, and there's no short option for them to pass to get a transition. So they end up either just spamming a low percentage stretch pass, 100-foot pass, whatever, to nobody, and then get an icing, or it just goes straight to another Blackhawk and they turn it around for a chance. Or they're forced to just kind of try and red line dump it in or something. It was purgatory.
The blue line. Oh,
he's back.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm back.
Oops.
You're on the wrong mic. You're on the wrong mic.
Yeah.
The blue line turnovers were brutal tonight too.
Yeah,
and that was one thing I noticed, especially with Nylander and Matthews, was they, like you said, it doesn't have to be beautiful, it doesn't have to be fancy. They would just try to do a tic-tac-toe over the blue line, just dump it in, guys. You got Matthew Nyes on your line, and Austin's a huge guy himself.
Yeah, I feel like such an old man saying dump and chase, pucks to the net, bodies in front, but it is it's not when you watch the Florida Panthers and Tampa in their prime, it was a lot of just simple plays, and they obviously have the skills, so they're able to do stuff that other teams weren't able to do, but it's a lot more just there's a saying, it's meat and potatoes hockey, where it's a lot of just simple corner, win a battle, work it out, get the other team on their heels a bit and bury one on, whether it's a rebound or a nice pass or something, right? So yeah, Jacob. So we're gonna move on. So I just have to drop out quickly, but we'll move on here. Actually, do you have any more thoughts on the game? I kind of want to wait for Seb to join in here. You know what? We're gonna do a quick standings check. That'll buy us up a little bit more time here, because I really want all three. Oh, there, he's back. Okay, but quick standings check here. Just when you thought it was over, we're right back. Okay. So games played. The Leafs currently sixth place in the Atlantic Division. Not good still, but I mean they're still it's been kind of a bit of a there's so much going on right now. My brain is fried, but it's
okay.
been a bit of a log jam. Yeah, it's been a bit of a log jam. But if they're sixth place in the Atlantic. Closest team to them is Florida, where the Leafs are a point behind with the same amount of games played, and then Montreal has 38 points and 33 games played. For reference, the Leafs have 32 games played, so Montreal has 38 points and 33 games played. Tampa has 39 and 33. Boston has 40 and 34, and Detroit is at top of the Atlantic with 41 and 34.
What is this timeline, bro? How is Detroit?
Yeah,
is your plan?
Division.
It's I don't know. like everyone's tight, so we'll see how it goes. There's plenty of time here, still a lot of hockey to go, and all it takes is like, I mean, we've been saying it the whole season, one bad week and one good week from two different teams, and it's flipped on its head. So we'll see how it keeps going from here. But I just did a quick standings check there because Seb, I wanted you in here for this. Tanev was seen back at practice, I think yesterday, in a full contact jersey. He was skating with a red no contact for a couple of days, which was the first we saw him with the team at a practice, and then they moved him to a full contact jersey. And I don't know, I'm a little bit confused with what's going on with him because he's back at practice. He was in the top 3 pairings in the line rushes. And obviously, it said full contact jersey. Berube isn't committing to the timeline. I think they asked him if he'll be back before Christmas, and he wouldn't commit to that. And then they asked Tanev, and he said his situation is fluid. They didn't really tell us what they got back from the MRI results. And I don't know what my situation is fluid means. I don't know if that means just like waiting to see until he feels 100%. So I have zero idea what is happening. Dude, this is a moment.
That might not even be Tanev.
That could be a clone, but
they plucked his brother out of Utah. Like that might not even be Chris. You know, you're talking.
Oh,
and
no,
I think
Jacob T up there.
Like, dude.
Yeah, so Tanev. So again, to recap, we have no idea what's going on with Chris Tanev. I guess we'll see him when we see him. He might still be out until the end of the year, like Nick Kyprios was saying if he got surgery. He might be back tomorrow or in the next game that the Leafs play. We have zero idea. So maybe moving on from that.
Maybe Chris Tanev was the friends we made along the way.
Yep. Yeah.
Right
so
on, brother.
We are moving on from Chris Tanev because I'm like, okay, we could I saw him in a regular contact. I'm like, we could talk about this. And then they started talking about what that means. And I'm like, we can't talk about this because there's no information. But I want to move on to how this team is going to play without him for a little bit in terms of the pairings. And tonight, it was listed on the sheet, McCabe, Stetcher, Mo OEL, Benoit Thrun. And those were from 1 to 3. And I just want to know what you guys have as ideal pairs. If you guys look at the outline, I have mine written down. My ideal pairs right now are I'd just run it back to what they did tonight, McCabe, Stitcher, Mo OEL.
Same.
And Benoit Thrun. Okay.
That's what they've been doing. They did that against Edmonton too, and although the Edmonton game they kind of fell apart in the third, I don't really see a better combination.
No, that's the thing. There isn't a better combination. So, you can't split up Riley OEL. They've been good. You can't split up McCabe Stetcher, and the only 2 guys left on the roster are Benoit and Thrun. So
I don't know. That's really it. I don't know. That's what I would stick with.
Okay.
For the most part tonight.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys had anything else with like defensemen you like to see, and obviously Mermis is out for a month after the knee on knee. And don't worry, we're going to talk about the Department of Player Safety again tonight. Just wait. But yeah, they don't have much going on there. I guess we'll move on from that because I agreed. I didn't know if there was something I was missing. It just kind of felt like they already had the pairs figured out, and it's been a lot. I feel like I said, I didn't watch a lot of the Edmonton game, but from what I've gathered, it was a lot more just like individual blunders, and a lot of it was from the forward group because that was a tight game heading into the third. And by the sounds of what everyone was saying about it, they played pretty good for 2 periods, and they just kind of fell apart. I think Seb, you said that as well. But we'll move. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We don't need anything else. We don't need to say anything else from that. And one thing, we did not conveniently not record because the Leafs were playing like shit early in the season. I just want to put that out there because it looked. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh, that's a tough look, but like, no.
We actually didn't watch the team for.
Yeah, honestly, all.
Yeah, you know what team we were watching?
The Blue Jays. Yeah, huge Jays pod. We almost did Eyes on Jays. No, I'm kidding.
Eyes on Jays.
Eyes on
Yeah.
Jays.
Yeah, but
Addison Barger,
dude.
bang.
Yeah, ball stuck in the wall. Oh my god. All right, moving on from the Toronto Blue Jays talk. Yeah, back on track. Another back on track to this Leaf season. Another player that just disappeared and we don't know what's happening. Anthony Stolarz, everyone. Welcome to like Robidaw Island 2.0, where you're just never seen again. By the way, you're done playing hockey actually. But Stolarz is apparently going to see another specialist for his. No. Can you guys hear me? Oh, we're back. Okay. I thought I dropped out.
Were my facial expressions looking like?
No, dude, it said just like check your connection, and then your face went down. I'm like, oh no. But we're back. Okay. Anthony Stolarz apparently going to see another specialist for his injury. I have no idea what's going on there. Berube did mention that it was not concussion related, which some people thought it might have been, but
no, so I find it weird he mentioned the concussion, which makes me think was it listed as upper body?
It was, and people are obviously a little sensitive to that after last year when he left the playoffs after Sam Bennett elbowed him in the head.
So you mentioned with Chris Tanev that you thought it might have been the neck. I'm wondering if that's the issue with Stolarz.
Yeah, like I don't want to speculate, but like if it's not a head injury and they're being this careful with guys and they're going to see specialists, like instantly what I think of with hockey injuries, it's like you don't mess with your head and you don't mess with your neck because obviously your spinal cord, you don't want to touch any of that because that's stuff that you can't mess around with. You can't just play through that. So I don't really know. Shoulder injuries are really rare for goalies. Like you don't really hurt your shoulder all that often. There's a lot of protection up there. I don't see that.
It's not a strenuous part of your body if you're a goalie, really.
No, unless he like pulled something in his rib cage. Like that's something that I know happens to goalies sometimes if you just stretch out a little too. But like it was weird because he just me and Jake were watching this game together actually, and he just left. And
there was nothing in that game that seemed injury worthy. So it was really weird.
He was playing awful, and then I thought he got a mercy pull, or not even a mercy pull. I thought he got a performance-related pull where it's just like he doesn't have it tonight, like he's just done. And then they said it's an injury, or then he never came back to the bench, and they said it was an injury. Then they said it was short-term. He should be back by the time the next game rolled around, and we just haven't seen him since. And
Jesus,
again, Anthony Stolarz. That was the one where Steve came down the wing to fire through his 5-hole from far out. And I think I was sitting right beside you, and I got up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then I walked to the washroom after, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. But
we turned that game off, didn't we?
We did. We did turn that game off. It was that bad. Yeah. But just some things with Stolarz. Are you guys concerned about that contract he just signed at all? Is there any concern there for you guys?
Oh,
yep.
You guys
okay.
Okay,
Jacob,
I'll tell you
Jacob,
why.
go first, and then Seb, you could go ahead.
Okay. I am concerned about the contract, although I did forget what the amount was. Low key, I thought it was 4.5. It is 3.75 for 4 years. But I like when there's an injury that's that serious. Like, okay, I'm not like gravely concerned because it's not a big enough dollar amount that you couldn't, work with it. Probably find a team that's willing to take a bet on him. It's a long term. I think it is fully revisionist to say, oh, that was a bad bet to make. Oh, you should have waited a month or two to make that bet. No, I think out of the performances that Stolarz has provided over the last 2 seasons, this is a good contract. 3.75 for 4 years. Yeah, you worry with goalies that he's never going to get it back again.
All right, yeah, and just adding on to that, Jacob, I don't know if this is just a concern about one specific injury. It's just the injury history of it all. Like some guys, unfortunately, it's just how it is. Like, and he's had injuries. He had a knee injury, now it's an upper body injury, and he's had other injuries throughout his career. And I don't know if I'm concerned about the contract. I'm just concerned, like you said, Jacob, is he ever going to come back and be able to play stable games for this team without him going down, or maybe just not coming back the same? Because we don't know what the injury is. It could be anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, when I look at the Stolarz situation, I think I would have a lot more genuine concern about that contract if he was making like the 5.5, 6 million we thought he was going to make. But 3.75 to pay for Stolarz, I think is for the most part fine. Like,
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with this season for Stolarz was the fact that they ran him for like what it was like 10 straight games or something that they ran him for. Like they just gave him no rest to start the year when they had a viable option in Dennis Hildeby to give games to. And
Well, don't forget, it wasn't Hildeby at the start. Originally it was.
Oh yeah, but still they had Hildeby. In
No,
the
I agree with
system.
you. Yeah, Jacob. Yeah.
But like, I just think if he has the proper workload that he should be getting, not starting a gajillion games in a span that he shouldn't be playing. This is a fine deal. This injury, I can't bring myself to be concerned because we just don't know what it is.
Mhm.
Like, and that should be concerning. But at the same time, it's like it could just be something that, like, I don't know. Maybe, dude, I don't know. This is so odd.
It is hard to comment on it when we have zero
like,
information on it.
I don't know. Like, I want
Yeah.
to bring myself to be concerned, but at the same time, I feel like the goaltending depth is pretty solid right now to a point where I'm not super, super, super worried if it is something detrimental, and I don't think that contract is absolutely brutal to the point where I don't think Stolarz, like, I don't think it's brutal to the point where it makes me think Stolarz can ever play games at that quality of money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Worth noting, the next contract is the only trade protection is a 16 team no trade list.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
if need
other
be.
6 Canadian teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
16.
That,
16.
16,
yeah.
16. Sorry, I thought you said 16.
No. Oh, yeah. No, you're good.
just move. Seb, you touched on the goaltending depth within the organization. Obviously, we've seen Hildeby come in, and he's obviously been fantastic. Akimov got some game time. I thought he looked. I kind of locked in for the last 10 minutes of the third period because I was really interested in Akimov of the Edmonton game, of course. And I thought he looked like pretty good. Like, it's a tough position to be put into when you're sitting on the bench for 50 minutes. So I think you got put in the third period, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that game was gone by that point. Like, it was a nothing.
Yeah.
It was a nothing.
But just moving, just staying on the goaltending depth there, I think Hildeby, I'd have to go back and watch the goals again, but obviously not the type of night he wanted to have. Are you guys concerned at all that maybe the NHL game caught up to him at all, or is it just okay? Do you guys want to say why?
He's a.
I'm telling you right now, watching that game, he was one of the only reasons they were in it for that long anyways, and the third period was not even close to his fault. There were 3 goals in rapid succession that were all either breaks, cross creases, or just straight up shots he had no chance saving. That game was not anywhere close to being on him. Tanked his stats for sure, but no, he's still a very adequate goalie. The only thing I could maybe see in the future is if that maybe rocks his confidence, but I don't think so. I think he's put in a good body of work this season to where I don't.
Who's beeping? Oh, we're back.
What is
Dude,
that? Oh,
my computer. Holy shit! Oh my god! I just got a fucking McAfee pop up. Oh my god! That was a browser pop up. Holy shit!
2025, dude, that's crazy.
No, dude, that was. It was
a cybersecurity software.
No. Okay, I'm actually concerned now. I was just on HockeyDB, and it just comes up. McAfee's peeping. You have 5 virus. I don't think I do.
What
I
the
uninstalled McAfee. The ghost of John McAfee is fucking. Does my computer have a virus?
I don't think so, but I'm gonna mark this down to cut it out of the pod.
Sorry,
I want this clip on
you're good,
TikTok, dude.
That's
I want
why
this clip on TikTok.
we're keeping it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
There's
That
one.
scared me.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Anyways, on Dennis Hildeby.
Yeah, on Dennis, I honestly, Seb, I agree with you, Seb. I think he played a lot of hockey too. Like I know a lot of people. I listen to Overdrive a lot. I love their show, but they are older school guys. I mean, Jeff O'Neill played for the Leafs in the mid 2000s, so it's been a while since he's been out of the game. But they do kind of harp on the fact that a lot of goalies just don't play that many games anymore. But I mean, it's just how it is now. And he did have a lot of hockey in short succession. Obviously, I don't think they wanted to put Akimov into a position where it was kind of sink or swim for him that early in his career. So I mean, I just hope, like you said, I hope it doesn't rock his confidence and when he just moves on and bounce back from it. It was kind of nice that Wool got in there. Although part of me wanted to see Hildeby again tonight just to give him that chance to be like, all right, you know what, that third period is whatever. Like as a goalie, I always want to get put right back in, even if I had a bad game the last time out, to show like that was a one-off. Like that was not me. So I would have liked to see him, but I mean, Wool played great tonight, and it's good to see him back.
One other thing I want to mention is that we saw this with the Stolarz injury. We saw this with the Wool injury. They really need to rely on Dennis Hildeby right now and not – like, I get Joseph Wool has been very hot this season. He has been amazing every game in, game out, gives you a chance to win. But Hildeby's also been really good in his own respect and gives you a chance to win pretty much every night he's been playing. Maybe he's not going to be the exact same quality as Joseph Wool, but to help keep the health of these guys that are your important goalies intact, you need to rely on Dennis Hildeby more and not start Joseph Wool 6 games in a row with pretty intensive games back to back for him. Like, you can't do
100%.
that again this season. You need to rely on Dennis Hildeby. He has given you no reason not to rely on him.
100%. Like, you've got two very strong goalies right now. I'd say don't overthink it. Like, with Hildeby, it's just like you said, it's just one-off game. He's still a rookie. He's still really young. He's still really inexperienced. I think just trust the process with him.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna move on from the Leafs here. I had that one thing on Berube, kind of calling out the leadership. I don't know if there's really much to talk about there. I think Matthews. Yeah, I mean Berube was right. Matthews came out and said, "Yeah, like we got to be better," which is night. Like there's accountability there. It's fine. It's pretty much what I wanted him to say.
We're already at an hour here too.
Yeah, and we have tons to talk about around the league. It's been a really busy week or busy Thursday. Dude, the second we stopped recording on... I was just supposed to say this. The second we stopped recording on Thursday, the leagues start to pick up again. And we'll get to some of the stuff that we missed in our little Thursday to Tuesday break here. But next game for the Leafs, Thursday night against the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m., who are currently getting their asses handed to them by Minnesota. I think it's 5-0 right now.
Dude,
yeah, 5-0 final. Minnesota's on a tear. But, Washington will be looking to come out flying. That's a road game. And the Leafs have, 3 games in 4 nights coming up, so we're going to see how they can kind of handle that workload. I'll be interested to see which games Hildeby get and which games Wool gets. I'd assume Wool gets Washington, and then Hildeby gets Nashville, and then Wool does the second half of the back-to-back against Dallas. I think that's how I'd play it at least. We'll see what Berube thinks on that. But moving on to everything around the league, I mean, obviously the biggest news in how long since the Rantanen saga, Quinn Hughes trade to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And guess who guessed the package and the team on this pod the last time we recorded?
Mateo
I did.
Giuliano, editor,
I did.
writer, and
I did.
writer. And
Yep. Thank you.
Substack writer.
Substack writer. Yeah.
Host.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pissed I didn't get Ogren too. I kind of got Rudy at the end. I really wanted Ogren. I just didn't even think about him. But I said a first Rossi and Bouillon, and I got 3 out of 4. But I mean, we'll get into it for Minnesota. What do you guys think about the deal for Minnesota? And also, I just want to say we're gonna break it up into the 2 lenses of each team. So I just want you guys to stay strictly on Minnesota here, and then we'll talk about the Vancouver side of things.
For Minnesota, when looking at Minnesota, I remember mentioning this when we talked about Quinn Hughes on the last pod. I didn't think he was a need, but he makes that probably, unless there's a team escaping my mind right now, probably the best defense core in the NHL, and he fits so perfectly on that D core. It's not even funny. He's just so dynamic. He's like an extra forward out there. I watched his first game with them, and he was so locked in. Like, he just adds a different layer to that team that they didn't have, and he fits their style perfectly. He is the king of stretch passes. I don't think he's made a bad stretch pass in his entire career, and Minnesota loves their stretch passes. A lot to give up for him, obviously, but I think you give up that package for the second best defenseman in the NHL at bare minimum every single day. That's a no-brainer move, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to do bad in the trade when you are getting Quinn Hughes in return. For
another year and a half, too. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's not a long amount of time for considering what they get, but I don't care. The Wild immediately became cup contenders with this trade. And to your point on this being a top D-core in the league, they got a couple injuries right now, but I'm just going to read out what their D-core will be once everyone's healthy. It's going to be Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, Jonas Brodin, Jared Spurgeon, Jacob Middleton, and David Jiricek, which is fucked up.
Is probably their 7th D.
Like, yeah, I mean, they have Damon Hunt and Matt Kierstead as well. I have no idea who Matt Kierstead is, but
dude, it's disgusting. They have like probably the best D-core in the league. It's amazing. Their center core is still shallow. I don't know about them being true.
I was just about to say that. In my article for Over the Line that I did, one of the things I pointed out is I thought they struggled for secondary scoring already, and I know Quinn Hughes is gonna obviously provide some offense, but their center core now might be the worst in the league. I don't think that's a stretch. It's Eriksson Ek, Daniil Yurov. I'm pretty sure they're high on him, and I think they like him a lot there. But Hartman and Nico Sturm.
I can't believe they have Ryan Hartman playing center. Like,
Seb looks like he's seen a ghost. What's wrong?
Dude, Daniil Yurov has been so bad this year.
He had two goals tonight.
He had two goals today?
He had 2 goals today.
I don't think he's been...
My bad. I was not familiar with the game.
I don't think he's been that brutal.
Okay, he's not been terrible. He started the year really
He's saying anything.
Yeah.
This guy
No. I know for a fact he started the year terrible. Like, he had like 4 points in like 15 something. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, he's been tearing up recently. I feel like every time I look at the Wild games, because me and Seb are in the same fantasy hockey league, and I just check the scores of every game every night and check the point getters, and it feels like he's always on the score sheet as of late. But still, I said that while I don't think you could be mad when you trade for Quinn Hughes, I would say that losing Marco Rossi, even though for some reason they never liked him, they never really liked Marco Rossi. I think their forward core is going to be really tough to make a run with, especially in a Western Conference where you're looking at a potential match with Dallas or Vegas or Colorado in the playoffs, and it's just like, does that stack up? I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to wait and see, I guess. But and Jacob, I'll let you go off a little bit more here on the Minnesota side too. I just another thing I pointed out in the article is that the reason Minnesota always made sense to me, and Seb, you kind of mentioned it on the last pod, is how much stock they've been investing in defensive prospects. And to me, I think it's just it. And while listen, Jiricek hasn't really panned out like I think a lot of people thought he would when he got drafted in Columbus, and obviously didn't move. And I still don't think he's panned out the way people thought he would. But it's more about the mindset of Wild GM Billy Guerin and how he wants to build his team for the future, and also now. It's a lot of emphasis on the blue line, and I think we see that with a lot of the best teams in the league. It's a lot of building out from the back in terms of your goaltending, where you have a great tandem with Gustafsson and Wallstedt, and their blue line was already pretty good. And then you add Quinn Hughes, and like you said, Seb, like instantly, he's exactly what they do well, and he just emphasizes that, and they're just kind of leaning into his strength again. And I always thought that made sense for me, just as when you see the way GM is making moves so consistently and so often, it's kind of hard to ignore when an opportunity like that comes up. And Bill Guerin is also a guy who's not scared to do anything. He bought out Parise, he bought out Suter. The Parise one, I think everyone saw coming. The Suter one was a real surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't think that Suter contract was that terrible. It was a bad contract, but people were like, he's still a decent player. Yeah, and so he's not afraid to do that. And I think Quinn Hughes said in his post game in Minnesota, like, all the credit to Bill Guerin for sacking up the assets to come and get me, because I think that honestly that was a shot at Tom Fitzgerald in New Jersey, because I think he wanted to go to New Jersey, and New Jersey, I don't know if it was just the fact that they thought, oh, he's not going to go anywhere but here, but they ended up stalling, and Minnesota comes in with, honestly, what would have New Jersey countered with that would have topped that offer? I really don't think so. We'll get into that later, but
that New Jersey package got leaked.
What was
it they reportedly offered? It was Mercer, Nemec, Anton Silyev, and first round pick. So
Not
it's a pretty
good.
comparable it's a pretty comparable package to what Minnesota gave up.
Yeah, I didn't mean not good.
I take Rossi over Mercer.
Rossi over Mercer.
Rossi over Mercer.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think you take Buem over Nemec too.
100%. I would.
Been pretty solid this year. But
I'd still take Buem. I think the upside's
I
there.
think Buem has that. Yeah, I was gonna say I think Buem has that probably higher upside.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have any thoughts on the Minnesota side of things here?
I don't have a ton of thoughts on the Minnesota side, other than I think you're right in their forward core. Rossi is a pretty big loss, and I'm looking at their cap structure up front. It's pretty fucking weird. They've got, like, it's just for this year, but Tarasenko's making $475, which is crazy. It's 2026, and Vladimir Tarasenko's making $475. Marcus Foligno makes $4 million. Ryan Hartman makes $4 million. Trennan makes 3.5. So with their cap structure, they don't, without moving pieces off the roster, they don't have a ton of room to even add a forward this year. Like, even if they wanted to get, say, just for example, no particular reason, just for example, Matthias McShelly, they'd have to clear some cap space to do that.
Yeah.
Not a center.
Not a center,
Not a
no,
center.
just another pretty boy
Max
winger.
Domi.
Dude, that second line
Center,
is really
noted
not
center.
Yeah.
Noted
Center. That second line really isn't good. Yakov Trenin, who's a hit machine, by the way. That guy gets out of every game with at least 4 hits in the hit column. Daniil Yurov and Tarasenko, like Jacob said, I can't believe that's their second line. I know you said you didn't have a lot to say on Minnesota, Jacob. One thing I would like to say, a team who had Kirill Kaprizov just added the best player on their roster, in Quinn Hughes, which I thought was pretty interesting. But Jacob, I know you said you didn't have much on Minnesota. Do you have any thoughts on the Vancouver side of things?
I do have a lot of thoughts on the Vancouver side of things. I think all things considered, I think the immediate reaction, they lose this trade. I mean, you trade away Quinn Hughes, you don't necessarily win a trade. But I think they made out pretty well. And I think the general consensus around the NHL is this was the best they were going to do. And, I mean, why not just take that package when it's available? I mean, you could even look around other teams that aren't offering things to see if you can get anything better. You couldn't. I mean, you did that last episode, Mateo, and you fucking nailed it. We talked about in depth last episode. Maybe it's time for Vancouver to finally tear things down, go into a rebuild. When you trade Quinn Hughes, I think it kind of signals at that. Generally, I think this shows some sort of direction from the Vancouver head office. You send out a really strong player. You get a ton of high quality future assets in return. I mean, we talked a lot about Rossi and who I mean is the 2C solution that I think they've needed. And if Philip Hedl comes back to any sort of form, I think they've got some pretty solid center depth for the future if they hold on to EP40. Liam Ogren, which we haven't really mentioned yet, is also a really talented young prospect.
Got his first point of the
Did
He
he?
scored tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
First point and goal of the season.
I mean, look, this is a brutal blow for Vancouver. Quinn Hughes, that's the face of your franchise. This is a guy that should have played his entire career in Vancouver. But I mean, that's just the way the cards fell. But you get Zeev Boyum, you get Marco Rossi, in the first round pick too. I mean, yeah, I'm going in circles now, but Vancouver did as good as they were going to do, and I think Canucks fans, all things considered, there is something to be excited about here.
Yeah, and I think just to jump in there, I think another thing that Vancouver does well in this trade is it allows them to go in two different directions if they'd like to. Like Jacob, you said a teardown, and I think that's still available to them if they really want to do it. But I think they're still going to be bad enough this year where they could tank this year, get a high pick, and with 100%. The assets they have, I don't think this team is that bad if fully healthy. Like I think we went through it. You went through the center core there, Jacob, with EP40, Rossi, and Hedl is a really good third line center if he could get healthy and
I mean, sorry to cut you off, but even with Drew O'Connor at 3C, that's still not bad.
Well, like you're right with Drew O'Connor, and the other thing too now is they have a lot of options at the two bottom six centers here. Max Sassam, they really liked him. They just extended today for 2 years. I didn't catch a cap it on that, but he's been a good player. Yeah, he's been a good player for them. And then like we're gonna laugh, but David Kampf is a good 4C. Like
no, he
is dependable 4-3, 4C, can play there, and Seb's laughing, but like he honestly is. He truly is. Like if you could afford him. Dude, I disagree. He plays a good defensive game, and I think he just became a luxury that the Leafs couldn't afford.
He's fine.
Yeah,
I'm joking around.
Yeah. No, I mean
he's like, a fine 4C.
If Rossi reaches his full potential, Liam Ogrim reaches his full potential, they got a lot of guys in the system too. Lekkerimaki, Hockey TB
has been playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atu Ratu.
Braden Coots, who played NHL games this year.
Yeah, Braden Coots.
Drafted this year.
And you have, I mean, see what you can get for Kiefer Sherwood. Maybe you get something for Evander Kane at the deadline too, and you can just kind of do what the Rangers did at a couple years back, just a quick retool on the fly, get a top pick, you know.
If I were them, I would look at moving one of Demko or Lankinen too.
100%.
Me too.
Probably Demko, but
yep.
I would definitely look at seeing if they can gauge the market on one of those two.
Do you have anything to add on the Vancouver side of things, Seb?
Nothing that different from what Jacob said. Yeah, like I feel like any trade that you're trading away Quinn Hughes, like you're gonna lose it, but it is a necessary trade that they had to make. This guy was not engaged with this team anymore. You can make of that what you will. People can come up with whatever reasons they think, but at the end of the day, you could see it with his play on the ice. He wasn't engaged on this team anymore. I think this is a statement, like you said, Jacob, to kind of show what direction they're going in. And I mean, Rutherford said it himself. He said the words rebuild in the presser the other day in regards to this trade. So I think it was necessary, the direction they need to go in. So we'll see what follows now. I think just get younger, get as many young guys in your system as possible, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to another pretty big trade, and then it's been a really stacked week. But the Tristan Jarry has been traded to Edmonton, and a move I really don't, dude.
I've got some thoughts on this deal.
I have thoughts on this too, but
I got some.
Jarry trade to Edmonton in exchange for Skinner, Kulak, and a second. And going back to Edmonton is Tristan Jarry and first round pick in 2019, Samuel Poulin, who is in the AHL, I believe, right now. I want to start off for Edmonton. I mean, I wrote another article for Over the Line Sports here. Jacob, all good, or are you getting more virus notices over there?
I was just trying to figure out how to turn it off because I'm done with Hockey DB. I'm done with. Sorry, Hockey DB has served me well over the years. I'm done. It's I don't even know what
reference time.
Hockey reference. Thank you. We're going Hockey reference.
Yeah. Hockey reference just doesn't have other league stats. They only have NHL stats.
Really? Oh, I was gonna look up Sam Poulin. Fuck.
I can get that for you. I mean,
Thanks, buddy.
yeah. I'll pull that up for you, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Edmonton, yeah, Poulin has played. Poulin hasn't dressed for the Oilers yet. He's played one game in Bakersfield where he got 2 assists, but in Wilkes-Barre he had 20 points in 22 games, and 2 games with Pittsburgh this season he recorded no points, but was a -2. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think of this deal for Edmonton? Jacob, you could go ahead on that.
I was initially actually Seb and I had a good conversation about it when the trade initially happened. I was just trying to find any positive for Edmonton. Hang on, I have some things written down. I like the bet Edmonton takes on Jarry. I just hate the price they paid for it. I mean, something had to be done for the Oilers in net. I just don't know why now. I mean, Stuart Skinner has never been good for you. I mean, he both times in your Stanley Cup final runs, he lost the starting position to who? To Calvin Pickard. He wasn't better. He's still not better. Jarry Pickard is still not a good I guess. And you lose Brett Kulak and a second-round pick in the process. Spencer Stastny, let's not act like that's a 1-to-1 replacement for Brett Kulak. He's good. That's a good pickup. It's a good pickup in addition to Brett Kulak. But when you're...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm honestly flabbergasted when they could have... I don't know what the price for Jarry was in the summer. I don't know...
It was free last year. Like
on waivers. But okay,
yeah,
but...
on waivers.
Slightly revisionist to say last year, but I mean, summer.
It's the principle of the fact that this was a guy you could have had for free, and now you're gonna all of a sudden pay all these assets. Like, is this the player you should be going after? Is the point?
Frankly, it's a desperation move from the Oilers. They're not doing well, and goaltending's a major issue. So they said, "Oh shit, we better do something." After last summer, Stan Bowman says, "I'm happy with our goaltenders."
It's not even the biggest issue on their team. That's the best part. Their 5v5 has been horrific this season in front of their goaltending.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think the biggest problem for Edmonton here is I don't think Jarry is that huge of an improvement over Skinner at all. I don't see it. I've never been a big Jarry guy. And I'll fully admit that I've never been a big Jarry guy. I thought he was pretty overrated in Pittsburgh even when he was at his best. I just wasn't a huge fan of his, and he hasn't been good for Pittsburgh for a bit. You ask a lot of Pens fans just have not been a fan of him, and I mean the 2021 playoff, he has an infamous play where he legitimately passes the puck to the New York Islanders to end Game 6, and that forced Game 7, I'm pretty sure, and then Pittsburgh goes on to lose the Game 7.
Jarry has not finished the season. Yeah, Jarry has not finished the season over 9-10 since 21-22, where he had a 9-19. Since then, he's finished with 909 twice, and that's 909 once. He had a 909 in Pittsburgh in 14 games this year, and he has 879 through 2 games with the Oilers so far.
And another thing I wrote too is he's going to a team who gives up more high danger shots than Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh, who is not really known as a defensive stalwart, like Edmonton has been pretty brutal. And listen, they've picked up, I want to say it's 2 wins now. They actually played against Pittsburgh tonight, and the Oilers played against Pittsburgh tonight, and they played against Houston, and that ended exactly how you thought it would. A 6-4 win where both goalies had terrible stat lines for the Edmonton Oilers. And Draisaitl got his 1,000th point tonight, and I felt it was a tough photo. They storm. The whole bench clears for Draisaitl. They're all standing right beside Skinner, who's clearing the puck out of his net and clearing his crease. And I'm like, ooh, that really stings. But yeah, I didn't think, and like you said, Jacob, you just pointed out the stats there. I don't think he's that big of an upgrade, and I think the price you paid is even worse. Like, I think Kulak has been struggling, but I think I mentioned in my article he has something like an 8-10 save percentage this season. Like his goalies have an 8-10 save percentage with him on the ice this season, so he hasn't really been getting a stop from anybody like when he's on the ice. And I mean, he's been good for them. I went through it because I'm like, I remember Kulak being a big part of that cup run for the Oilers, and he played one game in that series under 20 minutes. And in those games where they went long, he was like the defenseman recorded the third most time on ice in those double OT games. Like they depended on him, and he's been great for them.
I am telling you right now, unless he leaves Edmonton is going to continue. They're going to continue to waste the career of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They're going to continue to waste both of their careers because that ownership group is not capable of making a smart decision in terms of hiring front office talent. Ken Holland was not the move. Wasted the first. How long was he GM for the Oilers? Oh my God.
Was it 5 years?
First it was Peter Chiarelli, and then you go to Ken Holland, who was there for 5 years?
I think it was 5 years.
Also wasted those 5 years. Terrible contracts left and right. Horrible trades left and right. Couldn't.
Duncan Keith was an Oiler for some reason.
He couldn't supplement with anything, dude. They were terrible. And then now you hire Stan Bowman, who had a terrible track record in Chicago. I don't know why this was the guy they hired. There has to be somebody else out there that was a better decision than Stan fucking Bowman going into this the 2024 offseason. And then Stan Bowman goes out there and decides this is the move they're going to make for goaltender.
Oh my God! I guess
this is a lateral move at best.
100%.
Like you said, Mateo has not been great in years. Not only is Tristan Jarry older than Stuart Skinner, he makes more money than Stuart Skinner. Is on a longer term deal than Stuart Skinner. He's making $5 million for another 3 years, 2 years.
I think 2 years after this one.
That's the reason they had to get rid of Kulak in this deal, is to make the money work. On top of that, yeah, you're giving up Kulak, which is another just expendable asset for Pittsburgh at the end of this year. They can move him for another pick. And you're giving up a second-round pick, which is, like, pretty considerable in what you could get. Why wouldn't you just wait until, like, I get that they needed to make a change to goaltending. I agree with that 100%. You waited this long. Your 5v5 play has been the biggest issue this year. They can't defend for shit. And I'm sure the goaltending doesn't help with that. But, like, is long-term Tristan Jarry going to save your team? Hell no, dude. He's just another inconsistent mess in that.
yeah.
I don't understand the thought process on this. You've had how many chances to get goaltending in the past 2-3 years? There's been so many guys that were available. You could have gotten Linus Ullmark. You could have gotten Yaroslav Askarov. You could have drafted Jesper Wallstedt. You could have
Markstrom picked the Flames over him.
You could have ponied up the extra year on the contract.
Or
Markstrom. You could have signed Anthony Stolarz.
Or you could just take a gamble. You could take a quick little gamble on a guy like Connor Ingram. Oh wait, he's in their system already. They just refuse to call him up. Like, okay, I know Connor Ingram's not that good, but I feel like it's extreme to go trade Kulak and a second for Tristan Jarry when you haven't even really tried anything else.
Like, fuck, dude, go call the Canucks, see what's up with Kevin Lankinen. Like, you could have signed Kevin Lankinen.
You could have.
You could have signed Kevin Lankinen last
season.
Even
as an alternative to Calvin Pickard. I mean, Calvin Pickard hasn't been spectacular for the Oilers by any means, and they don't need to be married to that guy. But for some reason, they are married to Calvin Pickard as the backup.
You want to know why?
Please.
I think Stan Bowman 100% wanted to move off of Calvin Pickard over Stuart Skinner. If he was smart, that's what he would have tried to do. But who is taking Calvin Pickard? If I'm Kyle Dubas and you say, we'll give you Pickard,
who's taking
Kulak,
Calvin Pickard?
The Bakersfield Condors.
Yes!
Yeah.
Waivers is taking Pickard.
Yeah. The problem is that I think if they want to get a deal done, Skinner was going to have to be the asset because, and we're going to get to Pittsburgh in a minute here, and I mean, I think we all think that Dubas did really good work here, but if I'm Dubas and you say, what if we give you Pickard? Because honestly, I think if you get Jarry and Skinner as your tandem, you could do worse than that. I'm not a huge fan of either of them, but it's a fine tandem. But Pickard isn't very good. I like the guy. He battles, he grinds, he just gets his body in front of the puck, but I don't think he's very good technically. I think he's prone. He's not a great goalie. There's a reason why he's a backup and was a career journeyman and played in the AHL throughout his career. But I just think that they couldn't get the deal done if they put Pickard in there, and we'll get to why Dubas wanted Skinner instead.
My point with that is just you take a bet on Kevin Lankinen's a fantastic example. You could have had him for nothing and nothing against the cap too, and you don't even take a bet on him above Pickard as the backup. And I think for like even before Lankinen kind of broke out with the Canucks, it is a fact that he was better than Pickard at that point.
Stan Bowman has not made a proper swing at this position. He's doing a disservice to the
Stan Bowman,
McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl. Ken Holland, the one swing Ken Holland made at goaltending was Jack fucking Campbell.
It's a decent swing.
He tried Markstrom. He tried Campbell. He tried Markstrom. Got open on Markstrom.
Tried Markstrom. They pussied out on the final year. But the only move that they finalized on for goaltending in the past, in I think the 2020s, honestly, besides maybe Mike Smith, was Jack Campbell. Besides that, they've rolled with Stuart Skinner, saw that Stuart Skinner was not the move, and just decided to keep just beating the dead horse until they decided, oh, you know what, we're actually just going to trade him in a deal where we just blatantly lose for But...
Oh.
There goes the mic again. Yeah. But your mic is off. But yeah, I think what I just want to just piggybacking off of what Seb said, who's the last good goalie in Edmonton? It was Cam Talbot probably, right? Like Cam Talbot had a
1
decent
year
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're looking at it. Yeah. Dwayne Rolison. Like that's
yeah, honestly. And what was that? Was that 1 year too when they went to the final?
That was a Cup final year where they lost to who did they lose to? They lost
to
Carolina, yeah. And that Dwayne Rolison, I think you're looking at Cam Talbot for 1 year, and I think that was the year they lost to the Ducks. They choked to the Ducks. Instead we're just talking about the last good goalie in Edmonton, because I was about to go through some of the goalies that they've used with McDavid. It's Mikko Koskinen, it's Mike Smith, it's Jack ended up being brutal there, and I think he was kind of a sacrificial lamb, because if you look at those stats when Jack got sent down in Edmonton, and listen, I'm a little biased. I love Jack Campbell. He's been one of my favorite players who's played for the Leafs since I've started watching them. But he was better than Skinner when they sent him down. It's just you needed kind of a shock to the system for the whole team, because he was on the big contract, freshly signed. If you send down Skinner, he's a young kid at the time who doesn't have much value on his deal, so it's like a whatever move. And he just had to shake up the organization. He never got back. But yeah, it's been Jack Campbell. You've been Calvin Pickard, Stuart Skinner. Am I missing one? I think that I've ran through them all. That's Mikko Koskinen, Mike Smith.
Just one of the most perpetually stupid front offices I've ever seen in my life. How do you get the best player in the sport to fall into your lap, and for 10 years, going on 11? You just continuously find ways to completely mishandle the team and not know how to just... It is not that difficult to just get a proper goaltender to throw behind that guy. They could have had Logan Thompson for 2 third-round picks.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me,
Anything.
And that could go for any team in the league. But
the Leafs too, man.
You could have had Logan Thompson for 2 third-round picks, and you didn't make that trade. You're beyond stupid.
When that deal happened, I was like flabbergasted, because I always thought Logan Thompson was a good goalie, and I immediately wrote for Editor and Leaf, the Leafs should have made this trade. I didn't know, nobody really knew that was a value that was available to anybody, and goalies are notoriously undervalued, which makes this trade even more confusing for me as to how Dubas got this much value out of Tristan Jarry.
How did Logan Thompson go for more than Tristan, or go for less?
Tristan Jarry, yeah.
Incredible.
Considerably less.
How can you as a general manager look at that Tristan Jarry trade? Like, if you're Stan Bowman, how can you see that trade and be like, yeah, this is good value. Let's make this deal. Come on, Kyle, let's do it.
I would have rather them gone out and got like a Michael Hutchinson, just like, dude, honestly, the Oilers. But my point is, the Oilers' goaltending is so bad to the point where you might as well just throw whoever the fuck in net, because they're probably going to be better.
Where's Martin Jones at?
Yeah, get a Martin. Remember Jordan Binnington? Whatever happened there?
Yeah.
I genuinely thought. Honestly, if Jordan Binnington was like an available option, I think that would have.
He never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
But no, like,
There he is, the king
Quick
of Brits.
Sopranos reference.
oh, man.
Quick Sopranos reference.
But no, like literally, I think there's so many other goaltenders that could have possibly been available this year that would have been a better if they just held out a little longer. Wait till the deadline, see how things shake up. Like, did you need to make this move on, what was it, December the 12th or whatever, December the 13th?
Yeah.
Like, there were bigger fish to fry, I think, than their goaltending. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna move on to the Pittsburgh side of things right now because I think the one listen, there's a lot of you could be frustrated with Dubas with a lot in Toronto, but the one thing I would say is he was always a good trader, and if he ever had the rare bad trade, for the most part, he moved off of it very quickly. But this is another example of Dubas setting maximum amount of assets he could on an asset that I didn't even think had positive value heading into the year. I don't think anyone thought that he did, and I still, like, going from an off season where I thought you're gonna have to pay to get this deal off the books, or you might be looking at a buyout potentially. He gets a great haul, and I you look at it and it's like Kulak, you could get a second for him at the deadline. Everyone's looking for a defensive defenseman.
It's like the Luke Shen deal all over again, right? Like,
yeah,
you could get some considerable assets for that guy if he just get some solid play down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, like
you said, that's a second round pick.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you're looking at, and now in Pittsburgh, you're in like two kind of headspaces now, where a lot, like, obviously I think we all three of us think that they should probably rebuild, but they haven't, like, they've kind of fallen back a little bit from their really hot start that they had. But like, if you're able to maintain a consistent like pace here, if you want to go into the playoffs one more year with Crosby and Malkin, Kulak could give you that stability that a playoff team would love to have with Kulak. And he's an expiring deal, so you're pretty much shedding salary for next year too. And you can extend him if you want for whatever reason. I wouldn't do that. I think you're looking at a deadline trade. Skinner, I think you're just looking at another goalie. He's still young, and I'm not a big Skinner guy, but I do think he is a viable 1B option for any team. I just don't think he could have been in that Edmonton environment where he became kind of a punching bag for the fans. The media were all over him, and he wasn't playing well enough to be frank. But also the team was not good in front of him. So and he's another expiring deal where you're shedding salary because Jarry, we already talked about a huge contract.
Dude.
Yeah, he's an expiring deal.
If Stuart Skinner plays well, it's not out of the realm of possibility you could move off of him too for.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, yeah,
too. Like, it's he's a younger, cheaper, less term kind of version of Tristan Jarry. I feel like in a couple of ways.
Well, Dom Decision had a funny tweet where he was like on Twitter. He's a big stats guy, but he said it's kind of funny how the Oilers are the Eastern Conference version of Stuart Skinner, just making more money. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty head on.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, though. It's like it was such a lateral move for Edmonton, and I think this is something that's just like a no-brainer for Pittsburgh. Like, you're getting out of a contract you wanted to get out of, and on top of it, you're getting another goalie who's on an expiring deal, who has playoff experience that could be really valuable to a team at the deadline. You're getting a solid vet defenseman who, although he struggled in Edmonton this year, has a really good track record. If he builds up some solid play with you, you can probably get a second-round pick, and at worst, you're getting maybe a third or a fourth for him?
I think, yeah.
And then you're getting a second-round pick. Like, this is a no, like, that's a... for maybe smaller scale fleeces, this was a fleece, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have any thoughts on the deal for Pittsburgh?
Dubas, you genius.
It's back. We're back.
Truthfully, no. They knocked it out of the park. And the funniest thing is I bet Edmonton approached them. And they like you said, Seb,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like you said, they got out from under this contract without having to give anything up, and they just fell into their lap. And this is a tidy piece of work from Pittsburgh, and their futures
dumb as fuck.
Yeah, I don't hate Pittsburgh's future. Like, it's looking better than it did 2 years ago, which I think. I don't know. Dubas is doing good work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can really argue that. That team looked like they were in the depths of hell with no prospect pool, not a lot of picks. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of the price you pay when you go out and have a dynasty like the Pens did. And I think we're kind of looking down the barrel of it here in Toronto, where we sent out all the picks, we sent out all of our prospects, and now you're looking at it, and even after the win tonight, I'm still kind of like, I don't know what this team is, and we could be at the end of it, and we don't have any future at all, and it's just kind of like, oh, you have Nyes, you have Cowan, you have Danford. It's the price is trying to contend in the NHL.
Did you know that Michael Kesselring was an Oilers draft pick?
Yes,
I did actually. Yeah, I remember that.
Happened.
Yeah,
it was the Nick Bukestad trade, was it not?
I believe so. Anthony Stolarz was also an Edmonton Oiler.
I knew that.
But anyways,
traded for Ken Talbot.
Yeah,
no way.
Which I'd say probably worked out for them.
I think he was a Flyer at first.
He was a Flyer. He was drafted by the Flyers.
Yeah, he was.
Oiler, then bounced around a bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. Listen, I think it was a great move for Pittsburgh. Poulin, nothing really to be too upset about giving up. Well, obviously, it kind of sucks when a first-round pick doesn't pan out, but I mean, he'll probably just be good AHL organizational depth there for the Oilers. Yeah. And like I said, you essentially got 2 second-round picks. So it was Steele and Stuart Skinner's a wild card, and you're not tied down to him because if he's brutal like he was again tonight. I didn't watch the goals, so I don't think it's fair. But still, six goals allowed, and I don't think he had that many shots. Isn't a great look, but if he's not good, then you just let him walk, and it is what it is. You already got your value out of a deal or a player that you thought you'd have to pay to give up. So great work by Dubas.
Hey guys, editor Seb here. The last 30 minutes or so on this podcast that you're watching right now, we had talked about Kevin Adams, and Mateo's feed did not upload for almost that entire segment. So this is in place of that ending here. So thank you guys for watching the episode. We might go over the Kevin Adams stuff. On our next podcast. We should be recording Thursday, so maybe we'll go over that again for you guys, because it was honestly a really good segment. I'm very upset that dropped. Again, thank you guys for watching. And we'll catch you guys again on most likely, you guys will probably see it Friday, but we'll catch you guys again soon. Thank you.